as possible as to what is happening and how it's happening. Again, this is Suzette Speaks Show live on your radio. Again, if you haven't seen me last couple of weeks, I've been in these streets. I'm out here trying to get people. First and foremost, I was trying to get people registered, but now that the registration deadline is closed, I'm out here trying to make sure they vote. And if you or someone you love have a vote, but don't use a vote. It's one of the most disappointing things because we know that even right here in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, right where we live, we have enough people with enough votes to sway the entire state of Florida. If we were to show up with strength in numbers, we would have enough votes to turn Florida any color we would want. So I'm so grateful. Shout out to everybody who is watching online. Yeah, big up yourself. So I'm gonna get my YouTube I know. Big up everybody. Hey, Xavier, hello from Argentina. Big up yourself. We know all over the world, baby. Voice of the Caribbean in the building. Nice to see you. Thank you for watching. And if you're listening, thank you for spending your lunch hour with us and just marinating and meditating on the topic. Again, the election has been a long process, but it's getting exciting. We know that Georgia already broke early vote. I was saying that before the break. In Georgia, the first day of early voting, 204,000 people voted early. That's saying that they have a sense of what is to come, and they are very eager to make their voices heard. So we're gonna see what Florida has in their store as well, right? So why wait? You can vote early. Early voting is offered for all countywide elections. So no matter where you are in our listening audience, all across Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, Orlando, Lake Mary, Winter Garden, Port St. Lucie, Vero, Kendall, anywhere in between. Early voting is a prime time for you to make your voices heard. Again, this is an election of a lifetime. We see former President Donald Trump head to head. Right now, the polls are very tight. Me can't believe it, but them tight. And you are going to be the tiebreaker. You hear me? You who are listening, you who are watching, you are the tiebreaker. You have the power in numbers to show up, right? And make your voice heard. They say show up and show out. Everybody who's sitting at home and listening, that all right, my listeners are very informed. They tend to care about the community and what happens in world politics. But oftentimes, when people are looking around, they are very nervous because they're seeing a lot of people who want to be on the sidelines or could care less. I'm telling you, when I was knocking doors, I told you I put on my sneaks. We have a couple pictures on my Instagram. Follow me, Suzette Speaks 1Z2Ts. I'm gonna put up my door knocking picture so y'all can see me not lie. We go out there, three away, me and two other volunteers. We went through Sunrise area because that's the area they pick. And we're not Pandora. We ask people, are you voting? Are you registered? Did you already get your vote by mail? Did you turn it in? If you get your vote by mail, again, that's the other thing. If you don't get it in time, call your supervisor of elections because you might have to go in person. If you don't see, good afternoon. I see you watching online. Smooth move. What's going on? He says vote blue. That's the Democrats. He say vote blue up and down the ticket. That's his voice. He's making his voice heard. If you want to call me up and make your voice heard, you can call me at 850-446-0562. How are you feeling about the election? Because I feel a little bit shaky. I'm not gonna lie. The numbers it's too close for comfort. Within the margin of error, they can poll people, but I'd be like, don't listen to the polls because people don't always tell the truth in the polls, and they also don't always invite everybody to be polled. How many of you actually do look up or pick up the phone and or answer the text poll when they ask you? A lot of us don't answer those polls. So the people that they're even offering the polls to are a little bit skewed. They don't necessarily represent all of we, right? But I know how many times you actually answered a survey when people just call you at random. Most of us, hang up. We don't answer. Shout out to Gail at night. I see you, one of my wonderful co-creators here on YouTube. See you doing your thing, sis. Shout out to you and thank you for being here and for watching. Again, thank you to all of you for listening. Like I said, y'all not gonna see me always on here the last 2 weeks of voting because I'm going to be in these streets. You hear me? If I have to wave a flag, if I have to wave a banner, wave a sign, put sign on my car, drive around, beat my horn, whatever I have to do to wake my community up to make sure that they're going to vote. Me have to go phone bank, me have to go call, whatever I have to do to make sure this election in Florida gets rid of some of the baggage that we have going on in Tallahassee, gets rid of some of the pain that my people are feeling, depending on the leadership where you live, That should be everybody's priority. Don't let anybody talk you out of your vote. Your vote is in fact your power. Your vote is in fact your voice. So anytime somebody coming at you, oh, they're gonna rig this or no, no, no. That big lie is to discourage you because I know who's gonna show up. There is groups of people that are going to show up, rain, sleet, snow, they're showing up. And when we don't, they make the decision for you. How about that? Right? Whoever shows up makes the decision for you. So what are you going to decide? Are you going to keep yourself out here, in the wilderness, figuring out what you're going to do? Or are you going to try to find people who are like-minded, who are noble, who are honest, who try to do the right thing to maximize the outcomes for your life and for the lives of our children and for the future of this country? Who do you think is going to represent us well? They say Kamala Harris is fighting for the people, a prosecutor. As a prosecutor, she locked up sexual predators, and she's been protecting women, girls. I saw the interview with Donald Trump on Univision. You know what he said, and these are again not representing of any party, not representing of this radio station, my opinion only. And he's saying he's the father of IVF. This is the same person, former President Trump, the same person that appointed 3 Supreme Court justices that eventually overturned a woman's right to autonomy of her body, right? A woman's right to choose. So it was the law called Roe v. Wade of the land for 50 years. But the same former president is the one who appointed the Supreme Court justice that ruled on a case called Dobbs that overturned a woman's right to choose, even in this state, in Florida. Right now, we have a 6-week ban. Most women don't even know that they are pregnant at 6 weeks. And that is the current law of the land. So that's why we have Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is on your ballot for you to vote. Amendment 4 is to protect and to restore a woman's right to choose and for a doctor to make a medically necessary decision that is oftentimes needed. I don't know when we get to this stage that people just get pregnant and have a baby. There are so many medical complications that can happen to you, to the child. And when they talk about the miracle of life, I understand it because the stories are horrific that in America, people have to drive and leave the state they live in. That's if you can afford to go get the medical care you need that is medically necessary to protect your life, right? This is on the ballot. That's Amendment 4. And a vote yes would protect that. And we want to make sure we are protecting that. So I want you to be realistic. Are you voting and when? This is not a pretend time. Oh no, we're gonna vote when we get the ballot. Or yeah, 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 yeah. I knocked on so many doors. I was tired. My feet was hurting from this weekend. And I will do it again this weekend. I'm gonna do it again the next 3 weekends. It means that much to me. So if y'all don't hear me, because my voice is probably hoarse. If you don't hear me on my platform Thursdays and Friday, just count it in love, right? Charge it to love for the community. Because if we don't get people elected that reflect good values and have the intent to serve, this is not a money grab. This is not a keep me out of jail grab, right? Especially when it comes to the presidency. We have to look at the policy and we have to know what we are voting for. We have to vote for our senators. We have to vote for our Congress people. So when we look at the agenda, Vice President Kamala Harris says she's fighting for working families. What's her record? Her and the Biden administration lowered the healthcare costs, capped the cost of insulin at $35 for seniors, and will end all medical debt. Hallelujah. You know how much people die with medical debt? This is what we're talking about. Shout out to the first class. I see you online. What's up to my YouTube family? If you want to watch me, the Suzette Speak Show, you can watch it on the Voice of the Caribbean INI radio app. You can download the app from the App Store. Yes, we're big time like that. And you can also watch me on my platforms. You can follow me, Suzette, 1Z, 2T, Suzette Speaks with an S. And you can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of that, right? So lowered income. Let me just talk about the record. We're talking about a woman's right to choose, protecting the right to choose. Kamala Harris' platform is to reverse the Trump abortion ban, which is the current law in many states. He sent it back to the states. What they say, about a third of childbearing women lives in an almost near ban on what is medical care, right? Health care. When it comes to having a baby, there are no guarantees. You don't know what the body is going to do. You don't know what the baby's body is going to do. A lot of defects, a lot of things happen that can threaten your life and can threaten the baby's life, and it can be medically necessary. And if you don't have a right to that and you have doctors that are afraid of that, what do we have? Do we have the land of the free? Everything is free, but the government gets in your womb. Be real, people. Let's go. What are you voting for? Well, you don't have time to stay at home. There's some real issues that affect you, your kids, your neighbors. On immigration policy, we've heard former President Trump talk about rounding up and sending back. Who is he sending back? Do you know how much grocery prices would go up if the people who are working tirelessly in our produce industries left? Do you know if we didn't have those work visa programs and others who are undocumented? Let's just be real. We live in Florida. Besides tourism, we're an agriculture state, right? The agriculture goes all around this country and around the world. What would happen to our food prices? What would happen to our daily living? We got to be real. But on the Harris agenda, protecting a woman's right to choose. And she has promised to reverse the devastation of the Trump abortion ban and will never allow what she says is MAGA Republicans to pass a national ban on abortion. That's what Mr. Trump has said that he will be willing to do. Creating nearly 16 million jobs since they came in office. Everybody's talking about the economy. Through Biden and the Harris campaign, there has been nearly 16 million jobs created. They've cut taxes for working families and will make the ultra wealthy, this is her platform I'm reading, pay their fair share. We heard Donald Trump say, now he did say he will pledges to be a dictator on day one. That's what he said, right? And that he is willing to take revenge on his political opponents. What will that look like in a Trump administration? Ask yourself that. Brags about overturning Roe versus Wade. Like I said, that's the woman's right to choose. Wants to pass a national abortion ban and call for punishment, his words, of women who seek to get an abortion. Let's go. This what we really voting on, y'all. What you thought it was a joke? This is real. Would like to gut. This is Mr. Trump. And like I said, Rick Scott has proposed in Congress. That's the current United States Senator. There are two, Marco Rubio and Rick Scott. The United States Senate only has 100 members, two from each state. In Florida currently, one is up for election, right? Every other cycle, one is up for election. So right now, Rick Scott is up for election. So if Rick Scott is up for election against the Democrat, Demi Mucarsel Powell, you got to vote. Because we know they want to gut Social Security. He proposed legislation to gut Social Security and Medicare. Think about your parents and think about yourself. We've been paying into a system with our taxes. You remember all the taxes that come out of your check, the FICA? And when you look at your paycheck, who is all this? Who are all these other people that's getting taxes, right? In Florida, we don't collect state tax. But we got to look at, would President Trump increase Social Security? Or would he gut Social Security and Medicare like he's talked about? Shout out online to watching. Hi, Constantine. Or Constantine says already voted. He's voted blue. Blue stand for Democrat and bunch of blue hearts. I see you. Thank you for voting. It's this important, y'all. This is not the election to stay at home. This is not the election to stay at home. Me promise you. May we miss the show, yeah. We go get vote. To convince my neighbors and my friends that how important it is to vote. I will do that. So if you miss me, don't worry. Me, I come back after election time. But I'm going to be here advocating for people, knocking on doors, calling people. You have to know who's running for Congress. Trump, on the other hand, wants to raise taxes on middle-class family. That's the other thing I keep hearing him say. He want to put a tax on tariff, incoming goods. If you tax the incoming goods, even the economist saying, sir, who's going to endure the increase? It's going to increase the price of products. You want to put a tariff, and we're going to put a tariff in order to protect American manufacturing, sir. It's going to affect our pocketbook. That's not good economic policy, sir. Mr. Trump will raise taxes on middle-class families. He has given, and during his administration, it was his tax policy, a massive tax handout to the richest 1% and the biggest corporation. He, again, hopes to cut your Social Security and Medicare and end. He started to brag about Obamacare, but every time you turn around, he is saying that he wants to cut it. Now he's saying now all of a sudden, oh, he's strengthened Obamacare. Obama had to get in on the mic this past week and tell him, no, sir. At every moment during your administration, you tried to cut Obamacare. That is the Affordable Care Act. Same thing, right? The Affordable Care Act, trying to end the Affordable Care Act and raise everybody's health costs. Let's go. You have to do your research. Who is really fighting for the people? I see you rock on my listeners, watchers. I hear you. I can't call you. We have a few minutes. 850-446-0562 gets you right in touch. Visit your miamidade.gov. Look up supervisor elections, right? Find out where you're supposed to vote and make sure you know where, when, and where, right? Your voting plan is so important right now. Everybody say, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm going to be knocking doors tirelessly in the evening, every evening of surrounding neighborhoods, key neighborhoods where I know they don't even know it's an election unless they see two signs up. We have places like that, pockets of votes, I think untouched votes. That's what I'm saying, right? Those are the swing votes, along with our brothers and sisters in other ethnic groups, of course. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, Miami-Dade, where you at? We need the people. We need to vote. We need to understand what's really happening so that when we go in the booth, we make a educated guess. I see you, call. I'm coming right to you, holding the line. Again, if you're in Broward County, browardvotes.gov, browardvotes.gov. Early voting starts next week. If you don't already have your ballot, if you ordered it and you didn't get it, call them, browardvotes.gov. Remember the acceptable IDs that you can bring with you to vote: driver's license, Florida ID card, anything issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? Your U.S. passport can be used as your ID if you're going in person during early voting. It's there for the convenience, 7 in the morning. You have to go look up the early voting sites, but that's it. You got to find where you're going to vote. Your passport, a military ID, a student ID, a retirement center ID, a neighborhood association ID, public assistance ID, veteran health ID, concealed weapons ID can be used, employee ID for any branch of the department, agency, or entity of the federal government, or the state, or the county, or municipal IDs. All these can be the IDs that you present. Let me get my caller before we go. Good day, caller. Let me make sure you're on. You're on the ear. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. You hearing me? Hold on, let me share. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. How are you? You have a minute. Go ahead, caller. How you feeling? Good.
We're voting red over here.
And tell me why.
Where do we begin? Were the prices lower under the Trump administration than they are now?
I'm listening. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead, caller.
No, that's a question. I mean, we just heard you say how everything's going to be more expensive, but we've already seen in real time that everything was cheaper, right?
We did have a pandemic. We did have a pandemic that caused inflation. Absolutely.
Right. And the country we can withstand another 20 million people coming across the border for the next 4 years?
No, we need a legal path to immigration. And that was proposed until Donald Trump put the kibosh on it, told him to stop, don't pass that bill. It was a bipartisan immigration bill that was offered, and he didn't want President Biden to get the win. So he stopped Congress from giving us common sense immigration policy that could have helped deal with the border crisis that you're describing. But he would rather have an issue than a solution. But go ahead.
So why didn't that happen under his administration?
I would.
The border secure for 4 years. It was wide open for the last 4 years.
That's not true and accurate information, sir. More immigration happened under Mr. Trump than under the current administration. But go ahead. I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
Okay. You had said that he's going to deport X number of people. The number one exporter of people was under Barack Obama.
Now he did deport people. That's true. President Obama did send people back. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just really interesting how for the last 28 of 32 years, the Clintons, Bush, Obama, and Harris and Biden were in office for 28 out of the last 32 years. Somehow it's all Trump's fault.
All right, Colin, we appreciate your feedback. We thank you so much. Colin said he's voting red. You got to go. We have 2 minutes, and I'm sorry you got the last word, and I got to close the show. Thank you. Carlos said, "Listen, he got a balance. He got a different opinion, and that's why I'm encouraging you guys to do your research. I don't agree with everything that the caller made as a statement of fact, but again, it's for you to look at who is going to fight for your rights and who has the plan, who could have done it, and who has been doing it. Right within the four years of the Trump administration, within 4 years of the Biden administration." You have to make that call, right? It ends ultimately with the voter. That's my only takeaway today. You pretty much can hear how I'm going to vote. But whether you vote red, whether you vote blue, I just need y'all to vote, right? The only people that we can actually have influence over is when we step into that voting booth and actually vote for them, right? I see you, Maybach, watching 1804 online says, the only people we can control are the people of our cities, the governors, the mayors, the congresspeople, and congresswomen selected, and selecting women and judges. I hear you. I see the border bill did not pass to having other things inside the border bill. I see you, horse person. CEO, I see you, Coach. Be the CEO online. I see you. He's ready to vote. He said, I'm so ready to vote. Listen, we're all ready to vote. But the point is, we have to do it. This is the time. Get your voting plan in place. Figure out when and where exactly you will be voting. Figure out when you're going to take back your vote by mail ballot. When are you putting it in the mail? You got to figure out your early voting site. Just go to your supervisor of elections. There's been a lot of mail also sent home. So look through your mail. Find an early voting site. Commit to it. And we appreciate you doing your civic duty. This is our election to win or lose, y'all. It's time now. It's time. It's time. It's time. Love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I'll be here tomorrow, and then I probably will be in the streets the last 2 weekends. Suzette Speak Show every Thursday and Friday. I hear you. Online is popping. Guys, I only have an hour show, so I'll see you Thursday and Friday. I'll see you tomorrow for sure, but next week it's going to be a little bit spotty. I may have to go take off and go work the early bulletin and go get the people at the polls and push people to vote the way we all should be, right? It's that time where we have to move. We have to act. It's about our people going to actually vote. The polls mean nothing. Whether or not my people show up is what will determine who wins Florida, right? So it's up to each of us. If you have voted, bring another person with you. Bring 3 people with you. Bring 5 people. May I cut the commercial, Mikey? I go cost me. But meanwhile, you finna, at the end of the day, it is your vote. That is your power. That is your freedom of speech. Like no other country in the world. We have to admit, if even in her flaws, America is a land of promise, right? Where you cannot be a political opponent and be jailed for no reason because they don't like you or they don't like what you think. No, you get the privacy of the voting booth, right? Where everybody, no matter what they own, no matter what they drive, no matter where they live, we are all equal in the voting booth. One person, one vote. And we fought for it. For women, for people of color, for Black people, for Hispanic people, that we have become a more perfect union. And we're going to see who we get to decide on and whether they're going to take us forward or they're going to take us back. We're not going back, y'all. Anyway, me have to go. See you tomorrow. And again, next couple of weeks, I might not be here. I'm in these streets. Make sure you vote. Love you. Love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Suzette Speak Show live Thursday and Fridays. West of the Caribbean, I Radio. More with Lisa B. Music after this.
The quality of life for all residents.
I gotta play commercials. I appreciate you. Thank you for your feedback. I hear you guys. All right, see you guys. Bye. Thank you for watching.
And I hope to get your vote on November the 5th.